So it's October 4th, and we're having a midweek update episode. And Joel's here again because he had so much fun last time.
I did.
Yeah, actually, no, we're just going to record Monday's episode again today. And Google had their big Pixel conference where they unveiled, the new cell phone Pixel they're coming out with.
Yeah,
and
that was today, right?
That was today, yeah. And there's a bit of streaming news with that. And, it is October 4th, and the vice presidential debate is today. And, MLB wildcard for the American League is today. Or, is it like things that should never have to happen day? Is that what today is?
I don't understand.
Hashtag who cares?
Right. Well, I forget which one of the founding fathers called the U.S. vice president's position the least valuable position in all of democracy.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least then, he was runner-up on the vote. Now it's total,
totally.
Either you can carry a state or you're going to, short up the base. Both things I hate. I don't want bases short up because that's not good on either.
Never works towards the center.
I don't like the extremes. It's ridiculous. And then, then there's the carry of the state. Yeah, there's presidential material.
But we digress.
And then, the American League wild card, don't even get me started. It's 162 games, and then it all comes down to one game. It's just stupid.
It's really frustrating.
Today's the most pointless day ever. It's like for those two things to happen on the same day, I was like, why even get out of bed? Thank God it is National Taco Day, or to at least give a little bit,
the
back.
One saving grace.
I know.
Of
That's
October
it.
4th.
So it's been rough. But let's get into the news. Actually, before that, we had Steve in Dallas call in with a question. So let's play that.
First, hey guys, this is Steve in Dallas. Love the show. I wanted to run something by you. I currently have Uverse costing me about $180 a month, and my wife and I are getting ready to move. So I've been looking for a solution that's going to save some dough. And I think I'm ready to cut the cord. I'm considering PlayStation Vue, but I've heard that Vue is kind of crippled on Roku's, like the one I currently have. So I'm considering an Amazon Fire or maybe even a PS4, even though I'm not a big gamer. But I wanted to see what platform you thought would work the best and also play nicely with all the different app platforms out there, like Google Play and all the various TV Everywhere channel-specific apps. It seems like all the fiefdoms kind of have their own bent. Amazon doesn't allow Google Play, and Apple is its own walled garden, and so on and so forth. So wanted to see what you guys thought. Appreciate your work on the show, and please keep it up. Thanks.
All right. So Steve in Dallas, he was first.
Yeah.
So everyone else can stop yelling first.
What? No way.
Steve is first.
No.
Steve in Dallas first.
All right. He's officially first, but I think we should keep yelling first for as long as we can maintain it.
I think
like the wave, man.
Well, no, it's hard to decide what call to bring in. So we'll just have somebody just yell a number in there, and then it'll just be random.
We'll just pick whichever's higher.
Yeah, like tomorrow we'll pick all the seconds.
Excellent.
Don't do that. That would be a nightmare.
Yell something.
No. So getting to Steve's question, Steve, basically, it comes down to, because he's not a gamer, aside from the PlayStation, what would you use with Vue, whatever you want to call it.
That thing.
And now it comes down to, okay, this used to be a kind of a Sophie's choice between, do you want good navigation or do you want quality picture? Because the Roku actually runs at 1080p, which actually that doesn't matter. 720 is where the Vue, that's the Vue's video resolution, but it can still do both 1080. The Roku can still do both 1080p and 720 at 60 frames per second, which is important if you're watching sports or something with a lot of action. And Amazon Fire TV does it at 30 frames per second. But their newest Amazon Fire TV can do 60 frames per second, but it's up to Vue to update their app to take advantage of that. Did you catch all that?
I did.
Okay, cool. So I would, if I were you, Steve, I would, since you have a Roku, I would give it a shot on there. It's basically the Roku's standard kind of display for the most part with the thumbnails where you have to kind of click through the different thumbnails and everything. You don't have a guide feature like you would normally see on like the PlayStation 3 and 4 because it really kind of does feel like cable over the internet. There's a slight delay between like loading up a channel, but it's maybe like, fractions of a second. So it's just like a bit slower than normal channel surfing if you had cable TV on the PlayStation 3 and 4. Amazon Fire TV gives you the same kind of guide and feel. It's just a little bit more of a delay when it's loading the guide because for some reason they decided to not like cache it or store it on the device. It kind of so it takes like a second or two to load every time. So definitely the Amazon Fire TV is much better for navigation and gives you a better experience on that end. The better viewing is with the Roku. My advice: keep your Roku, give it a shot. If you hate it, I mean, the PlayStation Vue app on Amazon Fire TV should really be dropping any day to take advantage of those 60 frames per second. So that ultimately is the best option outside of the PlayStation.
Well, and where he is right now, I mean, like your recommendation to go with the Roku seems to make a lot of sense to me. I mean, like the reason why we all are watching television in the end is not because of the navigation to get to the show, right?
Right.
It's for the show.
It's for the shows, right? So if you like the Roku,
currently the Roku provides the best viewing of that,
right? And it's also one of those things. It's like you don't know what you're missing unless you have it.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
You can't always get what you want.
Every rose has its thorn.
Everybody Wang Chung tonight. All right, no.
Walk like an Egyptian.
We have to stop. Okay, so after that, 80s rendition there. So Steve, keep your Roku, give the Vue a shot. If the navigation is like just too much to bear, then go get the Fire TV. Don't buy the Fire Stick. It's just not powerful enough. The new one might be, but I wouldn't chance it. I tried it on the old one, and the lag between menu switches and stuff is just too annoying.
That's a bit much, right? Like, I know I was just saying, I'm contradicting myself, but I was just saying that, like, the show's what people care about, but nobody wants to sit there for 20 seconds while you're waiting.
It's not annoying until it is. It's like, it's like, so I'll deal with a second or two, but it's so funny. It's like, it seems, I bet you if there's like a point where it's like 2.75 seconds where my brain's just like, I can't take it anymore.
It's way too long.
Right. Yeah. So, but, all right, so thanks a ton, Steve, for your question.
That was actually really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a really good question. And if anybody wants to ask a question, get on the air, you can give us a call at 650-TALK-GRP. GRP like Grounded Reason Podcast. So the only thing you really need to remember is the 650.
There you go.
650-TALK-GRP. All right. So let's get into what happened at Google today. They made some announcements on. First, the Pixel phone came out, which, it's an Android phone. It's got Google Assistant. It's supposed to have the best camera ever put on a cell phone. So, cool. That's pretty cool. But I think it's like north of $600.
Yikes.
For one. Yeah. But, I mean, still, pretty cool. I'll put the link in the show notes if you want to, check it out. And then they also put out Google Home. Their announced Google Home is coming out, which is kind of like their answer to Amazon Echo. Yep. And I think it's $129, which is like $50 cheaper than the Echo.
That's not a bad price point at
all. They are, definitely. But they are a bit behind with integration because, Echo's been out for a while now.
Sure.
So, but I'm sure it'll catch up. It's Google. They put out a router. Google's getting into routers now.
Wow.
And it's affordable, too. It's like $129 for an AC router. Yeah. And you can buy a 3-pack for $299. I'm not kidding. You can buy a 3-pack of Google routers.
I'm just now imagining pallets at Costco of routers. It's just really
I want a case of routers.
I'd like a case of routers and a vat of mayonnaise.
So yeah, well, I think that the 3 routers are so you can shove them all over your house.
Sure.
And, get.
I mean,
good
it makes
Wi-Fi
sense.
coverage.
I've never heard anyone refer to routers in a 3-pack.
No, I've never actually. I think one. I've only bought a router at one at a time for the most part.
I mean, I've ordered them at work.
Oh, well, that's different. The whole building.
But they still don't come in 3-packs like shampoo.
Hello, Google. Can you send me a gross of routers?
Yeah, that's just not. But anyways. I don't want to take us down that rabbit hole.
All right. So, and they also, put out a new VR device, virtual reality device.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's all cool stuff. But the stuff that we want to talk about is the Chromecast Ultra. Everyone's calling their device the Ultra these days. Roku just came out with the Ultra.
Very cool.
It's interesting. But yeah, so it, it has 4K resolution and supports HDR content. I mean, if you want to know what HDR is, you can check out the episode that hit yesterday, October 3rd, because we get into the new Roku devices, which also has HDR. So check that one out if you want to find out about HDR and the new Rokus that are coming out. Also, it has an Ethernet port in the power adapter.
Yeah, and that was actually an interesting thing. It's funny because more people are shoving things into the power adapter like space.
Yeah,
like,
it makes sense.
Well, yeah,
because you hide it anyway.
It's
tucked away somewhere. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and most of it is just empty plastic, right? Like on the surfaces, they've put USB port,
right?
Like just it really makes a lot of sense to do it
now that they can carry data over a power line.
Sure.
Why not? But this, I mean, I think the real reason they're trying to do this is because of the 4K video and like Wi-Fi. If somebody has a poor Wi-Fi connection or even a decent Wi-Fi connection on end,
like crazy.
It's 4K video. I mean, it's a lot of data coming over the line.
It really is.
So it's got, they say Google claims it's a 1.8 times faster than the previous Chromecast.
I do caution people with it. I mean, like we have to take them at their word because we could. I mean, who's going to run the specs on it?
Right. It's 8,000 gigawatts. Of flux capacity. Right?
but I will say that Amazon did the same thing with the Amazon Fire and swore up and down that the Silk browser was much faster than it was 2 point whatever or whatever the number was. Faster than any browser out on the market. And what am I going to do? Sit down and test every current version of every browser? So,
because you can make a claim like that, and you're like, well, prove it, because then the onus is on you to disprove their claim.
So unless the consumer,
but it's probably, I'll give them the benefit of that. It's probably faster. I don't know if it's going to be 1.8 times faster, but I mean, I guess that's their way of saying that we got a little more.
It's considerably faster.
There's more gas in the tank on this one.
Yeah.
So there's that. The design is still that puck-looking design, and basically there's an HDMI kind of like looks like a bit of a ribbon cable coming out of it that you just kind of plug into your HDMI port. Right. It mirrors content from your Android phone and laptop, and it will work with the Google Home once it's released, which is like that Amazon Echo competitor.
Which I think is actually the really slick, like future-proofing piece of it, right?
Yeah.
Because I just got a feeling. A lot of people go like we tend to be more of an Amazon house.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I supplement, like that's what's funny is I don't buy, even though I have a bunch of Apple gear, I don't really buy my movies from iTunes. I do it from Amazon. And I think
typically that's what we do.
It's just the convenience of it for being able to download it on devices, and the kids have Kindles, and I can watch everything I want on an iPad with the app. So
yeah, I mean it's easy to get Amazon stuff through my Roku, or we have 2 Fires, and
and I mean it works for me. But I mean it would still be nice for Apple to kind of like throw their hat in the ring when it comes to one of these devices. Get Siri on a box I can stick on a shelf.
Yeah, and it's just cool that Google's going in that direction. I think that's going to be really interesting.
Right. I mean, Amazon's leading the way, but I'm sure Google will catch up in no time with this.
Yeah, they have deep pockets.
Exactly.
They can do a lot.
So a couple other things I wanted to get to, and this was just kind of news that happened over the past week. HBO and Cinemax are now on PlayStation View. I'll stick with View. I like View. I'm going to call it View. Now, you can pay a ridiculous amount of money and get both those networks through their Ultra package, which is like $65 a month or $75 a month if you're in one of those original locations where it was released. which is kind of insane. I mean, why even leave cable at that point?
I'm trying to remember when we did that episode. I think it was like 6 or 7 original.
Yeah,
locations.
it is the major markets,
Yeah.
like, your New Yorks and
Chicago,
LA, things like that.
LAs,
Yeah, I have to go pull it up, but it's like, the major markets. Go back and listen to the cable episode. It's like episode 3 where we talk
Yeah, I
about
think
streaming
it's
cable
3.
online, and it'll tell you all those
Exactly
markets
which
where it's
ones,
available.
yeah.
So I personally, I just feel that that's just too much money for if you're cutting the cord. I mean, if you want to stick it to cable, that's fine. It'll probably wind up, I would think pound for pound, it'll probably cost just as much if you had a comparable cable package.
Yeah.
Once you add your internet in,
Well, and weren't you saying that like someone could just go get the channels individually?
Yeah, and
it's
that's
considerably cheaper.
Exactly right. That's what I like to do. And they'll let you buy the low end package, and then you can pick up each one for $15 a piece, but still, I don't even think the math works out there either.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can get the lower end package in one of those channels and it's cheaper, but still, I think they got a little bit of work to do with the price point, personally. Yeah. Hulu also decided to make a move this week, and now their the package with commercials, $6 a month. So that went down $1.
And that's a big deal. I mean,
some change.
I know $1 is only so much, but I mean, like, percentage wise, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
They cut consumers a big break on that.
And I mean, you can always, if you don't want the commercials, you can pay the $11.99 for the commercial free package, which actually doesn't sound like much, but you're saving a lot of time there. You figure in 10, 15 minutes per hour there. Yeah. So, you watch an hour a day, you're talking a couple hours a week, and that just builds and builds, and you're talking days by the end of the year.
Well, and my big thing with this, and I harp on this too much, so I probably bug everybody, but it's the fact that their price is going to actually push other producers or distributors of content to lower their
that's
prices.
always good.
And that's really why Hulu doing that is such a good deal for everyone.
Yep. And last thing I'm going to get to is the CW, the C-dubs, as I like to affectionately call them. They've released an app. They've been slowly rolling this thing out. Now it's on all the major devices. The CW app's on the Roku, the Comcast. Ugh. Freudian, not even Freudian.
Jungian.
Thank you. The Chromecast, Apple TV, Xbox, Fire TV, Android, and iOS. It's free.
Yeah.
Completely free.
And there are a handful of CW shows that I used to watch religiously. Now they've kind of run their course.
Yeah,
But
like Arrow.
Yeah.
Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl.
I used to watch Supernatural all the time.
There you go. And Legends of Tomorrow. So there's some good shows there, and it's all free and on demand. Doesn't require a login. I tip my hat to you, CW.
Yes. You gentlemen and scholars over there at the CW, at the Dancing Frog.
All right. So that's the news we have this week. I'm Dennis Restaro.
And this is Joel Reeves.
And we'll see you on Monday.